Guys, welcome to the reading section for the new TOEFL. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you guys about 5 to 10 minutes with me to actually go over the test that you guys took. Okay, so let's take a look at the first passage straight away without further ado. Okay, so the first passage was about venom. I know that some of you guys might have heard of this word before, but it means poison. So when you talk about snakes with venom, it would be poisonous snakes that have venom in their fang. Okay, so that's what venom is. Think of it in terms of poison. Okay, so let's go straight into the first paragraph. Okay, when you guys see this chunk, you guys are like, oh, this is too much for me. There's too many words. But what you have to keep in mind is try to open your eyes for the key words only. You can't spend too much time reading it word by word because you have a given time limit during your actual test. Okay, so let's take a look at the first. The Greek philosopher Aristotle may be best known for. Now, the word best known for means he's famous for something. His writings on the mind, body, and soul, but, as I say, but is a signal word that shows the following contents are more important than the before. He also made important contributions. Now that's a TOEFL word. Contribution means you devote something to someone or something, object. Okay, so you put your effort into it, you affect that, influence. Okay, so that's what contribution means to the study of biology. Okay, so they're going to talk about living organism, including the first recorded description of animals that use venom. Right, so we got our very first topic. They're going to talk about biology, organisms, and specifically they're going to talk about animals that use poison. Okay, that's our topic. So what we would do here is just write down a little note, that's the topic. Venom is a poisonous liquid. Okay, they're giving you a definition. How do you know that it's a definition? You would know that it's a definition because they have this format. A is B. Okay? So this is a definition. Poisonous liquid that animals produce in special glands and is often associated with teeth, spines, or other piercing growth. We've got two words that are a little bit difficult. Okay, let me just underline that. Glands would mean something that is like the root within our body or within living organisms that provides the pathway to produce venom or whatever other thing that it could be. Okay? And piercing means it goes through. So it cuts through. So venom, like associated with teeth, spines, which is like the bone, backbone, or other piercing growth. Okay, so we've got an understanding of what venom is about. A wide variety of modern animals, from well-known examples like snakes and spiders. Okay, so we know that some snakes are poisonous, like the king cobra or the spiders, to less well-known examples such as some snails and octopuses. So what are these examples? These are examples of organisms that have venom, okay? So when we know that it's an example, just write down example. So octopuses utilize, now we've got another TOEFL word, utilize means the same thing as use. Venom as a powerful and versatile, ooh, this is a very good TOEFL word. Versatile means changing. There's a lot of changes, fluctuations. Survival tool. Recent research has revealed that venom glands existed in a dog-sized reptile as far back as 260 million years ago, which is far back in the past. This is 100 million years before snakes appear in the fossil record, but probably well. Now, this is where our first question is. How do we know that? We see that it's highlighted. So, probably well after venom evolved as a natural weapon. So what the first question is asking would be, what is the meaning of well here? Okay, one hint that we see is they're talking about years. They're talking about numbers. So we're talking about the time before and after. Okay, keep that in mind, and let's look at the first question. So let's take a look at the first question. The word well in the passage is closest in meaning to, right? So remember what I told you guys. They're talking about 260 million years ago, 100 million years before. So they're talking about the time difference. Let's take a look at ABCD. A means much. So usually this is talking about amount. Second is talking about right. Right means something that's correct, something that's accurate, exact. Long, it's talking about the time difference. D, soon means it happened soon, but we're talking about a million years apart, 100 million years apart. So that would be exactly the opposite. So you can cross that out. We're not talking about exact. We're not talking about amount. So the only best answer that we would have left would be long. Okay, that wasn't difficult. Let's get back to the passage and see how we can figure out the answer for question 2 as well. Okay, let's go into the second paragraph. Considering the danger that it poses to humans and domesticated animals, domesticated means literally pets. Animals that are kept in houses, like dogs, cats, sometimes even domesticated rabbits. Scientists have understandably spent considerable time. Considerable means quite a lot of, okay? This sometimes appears in the vocab questions. And offer studying venom. Thanks to their efforts, we know that venom evolved, which means they underwent growth over the generations, independently in a number of species, and that most forms of venom either affect the nervous system or the blood when injected means you put into, injected into prey. Okay, one popular area of study involves investigating the potency of venom. Now, potency means effectiveness. Okay, so they're talking about the effect of venom. Why are some organisms highly venomous and others only mildly venomous? Mildly means only a little bit. So comparably, it's much less. Why are some small animals resistant, which means kind of like they resist against, they fight against, to amounts of venom that kill much larger animals? So what they're doing here is they throw you questions. The scientists are looking for answers to certain questions. What's the effect of venom? Why are some organisms with different levels with venom? Okay, and what they do straight away is they give us the possible answers of research. Okay, so after we understand the second paragraph, let's go straight into question number 2. Okay, so going straight into question number 2, according to paragraph 2, which of the following is true about the evolution of venom? Now, evolution is what I told you guys. It means growth over generation. Okay, so over the growth of venom, let's look at ABCD. A, it first affected the nervous system and then the blood. Now, the thing that we see here is first. So they're talking about chronological order. They did not mention that. Whatever was not mentioned in the passage can never be the answer. So the first thing is we cross out chronological order. B, it occurred differently in diverse species. Now, what's the main point here? They gave us a number of species. Okay, they said in a number of species. Some are largely affected by venom, some are only mildly affected. So that's talking about many different species. It looks okay. So you just leave a little circle here. C, it required a great deal of work over a long period of time. Right, so they did mention that a lot of scientists are looking into it, but we don't know the amount of work. We don't know if they spend a lot of research into this. So cross that out. D, it evolved to affect humans more than animals. Did they mention humans? Nope. They just mentioned it as an opening phrase, so that would not be the main point. So the only answer we have here would be choice B. That's how you would solve this question. Okay, let's go back to the text. And then let's go straight into the third paragraph. Possible answers to those questions. Those questions are talking about the questions that were given in the previous paragraph. may be revealed by examining the target of the venom rather than the venomous animals themselves. Okay, so remember how they use venom to prey upon other organisms. So they're going to look at the prey, is what they're saying. Most venomous predators target a specific narrow array of prey species, which shapes the evolution of their venom. Okay, so predators are in terms of, nature. We would say, lions would prey upon rabbits or something like that. So predators are at the top of their food chain, okay? So these people are looking for what? Species. Not people, I would say animals. But other venomous species use venom for defense or even in the competition for mates. Interesting, so different functions. The use of venom on different types of targets has led to some interesting evolutionary results. Right, as I told you, highlighted parts are giving us a hint on which parts there will be a question on. So let's go straight into the two questions that are asking these. Okay, so let's go straight into question 3. Why does the author mention examining the target of the venom rather than the venomous animals themselves? Now, what you have to keep in mind here is they're asking you the purpose. But for TOEFL, it's quite different from, I would say, exams like SATs, because it's a little bit more simpler. They're asking you guys to be a little bit more intuitive and straightforward about your answers. So what's the meaning of this? Let's take a look at ABCD to explain why scientists started to examine prey species. Now, in this case, it's focused on what? Why they started this. So the focus is mainly on scientists. But remember, when the paragraph started, they gave us a link between the previous questions that were thrown. So we know this is not the main point. C, not C, but B, to answer the questions about venom affecting animals differently. Yes. Remember the questions that they gave us straight away before the paragraph? They said, why are some affected largely? Why are some affected mildly? What's the difference between organisms and species? So that's exactly what B is talking about. To introduce a new topic of the discussion about snake venom, they weren't just focused on snakes. D, to give examples of how venom went through change. No, that would be a little bit too historical. They're not going about how the venom evolutionized. They're focused on different animal species and the effect of venoms for these different species. So the best answer in this case would be B. And going straight into question 4 as well, the word array in the passage is closest in meaning to. Now, array was linked with species. So we know that it's a narrow variety of species that they're probably talking about. So species types, right? That's what they're talking about. Let's take a look at A, lineup. Now, lineup literally means physical arrangement. Okay, it's not talking about type. B, display. It just means to show, like exhibition. C, variety means type. D, sight means what you can see. So B and D are the same meaning. They're just talking about some kind of visual sight. So cross that out. You've got lineup and variety. Which one talks about type? Then the only answer you have is C, variety. Okay, so for this, I went over about 2 to 3 paragraphs with you guys in the text and went over 4 questions. So that's 40% of the whole 10 questions that follow for a single text. Okay, so usually I would go over the whole thing with you guys, but this is like a short, I would say, video with you guys to show how my classes would usually go. So this is where I'm going to end off, and thank you guys.